This is What We Read, and this week I am reviewing a book that I'm listening to on Audible right now, and one that has been recommended to me many times. It's one that Tim Ferriss talks about, Ryan Holiday talks about, and that's the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. It sounds like an old school book, but it's only been around for about 20 years. And it really says some bold statements about marketing and how some things are just always true. And I'm just kind of getting into it now, but one of the first chapters is called The Law of Leadership. And that is that the first product to market always has a much higher chance of succeeding, regardless of whether it's the best product. And some of the great things they say is like Charles Lindbergh was the first guy to fly across the Atlantic in a plane. Do you know the second guy? And so it goes through that whole thing and just how we just never remember the second. And if you look at a lot of the market leaders in categories, it was the first. Of course, there's exceptions to this, but things like Coca-Cola, et cetera, et cetera. And so it goes through that, which is really interesting. And then it talks about the law of changing category. So then if you say something like Amelia Earhart, well, she was the first woman to fly across the Atlantic. So all of a sudden you change the category, which means you change the game. And so this is all about how marketing all just comes down to one thing, which is perception. It's not about your product. It's not about this. It's not about the features. They go as far as say this. It's really about perception, which is a really intelligent way of looking at things. And it's almost kind of a spiritual / psychedelic way of looking at things, as in we all bring our own perception to the world. And you need to really understand the perception in someone's brain of your product, not just the way you understand your product. And so that's what marketing is really all about. And it's really fascinating. It goes on further and says the law of the ladder. So for some people, you know, you can get away with being the second best company, and you can actually carve out a niche as being, say, the second best or the third best. And some you can't. And it's funny, he talks about like Dodge, which for the longest time in America was always the third ranking car company. And he says when they come out and say, we want to be the best, it's kind of like lip service. They say it sometimes anyways, but people don't even want them to be the best. They want them to be like the number 3, and it's the kind of slightly cheaper option. And when they try to become something else, like become number 1, sometimes they actually lose the market share they already had. So it's funny because I've been thinking about this and how it applies to London Real. You know, were we first? I guess we were first in London for really what we do. So that's kind of interesting. And I'm always just thinking about how that applies to us. And perception is everything. It also talks about the way the market first gets to know you. It's very hard to change after that. So if a lot of you got to know me as the host of London Real or the creator of London Real, if I want to now go be something else, you guys are going to be like, well, aren't you the London Real guy? So that's like kind of interesting to think about your perception to the world. Of course, there's exceptions to all of this stuff. I mean, Google was like the 13th search engine. And I remember when I started at a .com company in New York City in 1999 as the CFO, Google wasn't even around. We were having meetings with AOL, we were having meetings with Alta Vista, and we were having meetings with Northern Light, that was another one. And Google wasn't part of the conversation when we were talking to the big hitters as far as featuring our luxury products online. So it's not always the way you think it is, especially with new tech these days with things getting replaced. But a lot of it rings true. And so if you're in any kind of business whatsoever, you should really read this book and find out more about it. So there you go, the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. I'm glad I'm finally getting around to it. I still got more to listen to. Probably give that a listen a second time as well, because I think it's really relevant to any business, or to understand how your mind is manipulated, or not even manipulated, how your mind behaves when it comes to products and your perception of those products. So there you go. I'll be having an action item on this happening over at London Real Academy. So if you're there, just go over, sign in. If you're not a member yet, just click on the protected content, which is the book club, and it'll prompt you. You can become a member really quick. When you get in, private message me and send me your 3 goals for this year. And I'm going to find you an accountability buddy that's going to help you accomplish those things. So that's happening over there. Then there'll be an action item on the book club. Go there, and you've got something to do for this for this book, which is 22 Laws of Marketing. So I'll see you over there on the Academy. That's it. Peace.